Hello, everyone. Welcome to the News Browse News broadcast. According to Xinhua, Environment and Climate Change Canada announced its plan to integrate artificial intelligence with traditional forecasting methods to enhance the accuracy of severe weather predictions. This strategic move aims to improve public safety, bolster emergency readiness, and provide Canadians with more lead time to respond to high-impact weather events. AI models learn atmospheric behavior by analyzing decades of historical data rapidly, enabling the hybrid model to predict extremes like strong winds or heat waves with greater precision. The ministry expects the 6-day forecast to achieve the current accuracy level of a 5-day forecast, with major weather systems being predicted 8 to over 24 hours earlier. Scientists and meteorologists have been conducting extensive parallel testing of the hybrid model over the past year. The Yukon government has issued a formal apology regarding the repeated and routine use of restraints and confinement against students at Jack Hulland Elementary School in Whitehorse for over a decade. According to a statement from Yukon Education Minister Scott Kent, teachers and staff routinely employed these methods even when there was no risk of students harming themselves or others. These practices, which involved physical restriction and involuntary confinement, were used to discipline students and modify their behavior, often excessively and for extended periods from January 2007 to June 2022. The territory noted that these practices are intended as a last resort for imminent harm prevention. This apology, reported by the Canadian press, is part of a mediated settlement in a class action lawsuit, with the government accepting full responsibility and offering support to those affected. The Canadian press reports that Cogeco Inc. announced a higher second quarter profit of $79.8 million, an increase of approximately 4% compared to $76.6 million in the previous year. Diluted earnings per share also saw an uptick, reaching $1.97 from $1.88 a year earlier. However, the company's revenue for the period ending February 28 declined by over 5%, sliding to $713 million from $753.2 million year-over-year. Following these results, Cogeco has revised its financial guidance for the 2026 fiscal year, lowering its expectations for both revenue and adjusted earnings before deductions. This adjustment is attributed to increased pressure on its U.S. internet subscriber revenue. Frédéric Perron, Cogeco's president and CEO, noted that while the company's Canadian operations maintain strong performance, the U.S. segment is anticipated to face more challenging financial results in the first half of the year. Separately, Cogeco Communications, Inc., a cable and internet subsidiary, reported a profit of $83.6 million, an increase from $79.6 million in the same quarter last year. Tanya Warner, a mother from Penticton, British Columbia, and her 7-year-old daughter, Ela, were held in ICE custody for 19 days after being stopped at a checkpoint in Texas in March. Warner, who has a green card application pending, was living and working legally in the U.S. as a lawful alien. Despite presenting her valid paperwork, she and Ela were arrested for an alleged overstay. They were initially held at the Ursula facility in McAllen for 5 days, where conditions were described as aiming to coerce self-deportation. They were then transferred to the for-profit Dilley, Texas detention facility for 19 days. Warner reported traumatizing conditions, including sleeping on concrete floors with uncomfortable space blankets. Her daughter, Ela, suffered a severe rash from harsh cleansing agents and now experiences anxiety. Warner was eventually released on a nearly $10,000 bond, fitted with an ankle monitor, and faces travel restrictions that complicate her next ICE appointment. She warns others that such check-ins can be entrapment. This report comes from City News Everywhere. Global News reports that separatists in Alberta believe the impending parliamentary majority for Prime Minister Mark Carney is significantly bolstering their cause for independence from Canada. The Alberta Prosperity Project, a pro-independence group, noted a surge in petition signatures aimed at triggering a citizen-led referendum since Conservative MP Marilyn Gladu's recent defection to the ruling Liberal Party. Spokesman Jeff Rath stated that Carney himself has been the biggest help to the movement. The group claims to have gathered over 177,000 signatures, the number required by Alberta law to initiate a referendum potentially as early as October. This political shift, coupled with endorsements from figures like Elon Musk and U.S. right-wing media personality Glenn Beck, is seen by activists as a catalyst, despite consistent polling indicating that separation remains a minority position in the province. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.